To have Julia LaChica, who is part of an amazing event that's going to be happening tomorrow called Belonging, a panel discussion with Julia LaChica. And let's see, I'm going to bring her on in just a second, but it says in conjunction with this exhibit, Belonging, the Manila Town Heritage Foundation presents a panel discussion on her work and mixed race heritage, reflecting on the influences from San Francisco's multiculturalism. The panel consists of Julia LaChica, Nancy Ham, Wei Ming Dariotis, I hope I said it correctly, PhD, and the panel will be moderated by Juana Maria Rodriguez, Dr. Juana Maria Rodriguez. So anyway, so let's talk about this artist and how she does what she does. Who is Julia LaChica, and what was the little Julia doing, and how'd you get into all this in the first place?
Thank you, Avotcja, for having me here. I got started as a kid growing up in San Francisco's Chinatown. We grew up poor in the projects. There was a lot of violence around, a lot of horrible things that children shouldn't see. And doing art for me was my way of escaping all the horrific images that I saw in my neighborhood. As I got older, my art started developing a little bit further. I began taking classes at the Mission Cultural Center. Basically, just classes here and there. No formal training, really, just creating three-dimensional montage. They call it assemblage art. I was influenced by Joseph Cornell early on, and then Betty Saar.
Oh, yeah.
And for painters, Frida Kahlo and contemporary artist Yoshitomo Nara also influenced me. So a lot of the images that I create, three-dimensional images, are from found objects, things that I find on the street, things that I pick up at markets, flea markets, just precious items that really capture my eye, capture my soul, and I collect them. And when I start to create my pieces, I don't really have any one thing in mind. It just kind of happens organically. These items, in a sense, speak to me and tell me where they want to go, how they want to be positioned. For the most part, they are altars, offerings. I'm not very religious per se. I'm spiritual. My father was Catholic. My mother was Buddhist. He was Filipino. She was Japanese. So growing up in San Francisco, it was really what formed me as an artist and as a person. And so today, I'm having my first solo exhibit. It actually began March 5th, and it'll run till April 30th.
At Manila Town.
At Manila Town, the I Hotel Manila Town Center. It had been a long time since I exhibited. I did a lot of group shows back in the 80s at Galleria de la Raza and various venues in the Mission area. And then I went to school and actually got some formal training. I wanted to continue with fine arts, but, growing up poor, you got to be practical. I have to think about how I'm going to make a living, so I studied design. And so that's how I pay for my paints, is I design products mostly houseware, but it enables me to do what I love to do, and that's painting and assembling art.
Well, this is going to be an amazing event. If you haven't been to the iHotel Middletown Cultural Center, it's at 868 Kearney Street, right there in Chinatown. And in San Francisco, very easy to get to. There's buses that go right by. It's not too far from the BART station. The exhibit's called Belonging, and it's, it goes from, goes through April 30th. Mm-hmm. And let's see, the panel discussion starts tomorrow at 2 o'clock and goes to 5. And they have all these folks, including my friend Nancy Hom, who introduced me to Julia LaChica, who is also part of this panel. Wei Ming Dariotis, did I say his name right?
I believe so.
And who is, a doctor. And so let's see, what is the panel going to be talking about?
We're going to be discussing the influence that San Francisco and the multicultural landscape, their effect on us as artists. Nancy, myself, Wei Ming is a professor at San Francisco State, and she's also going to discuss being Hapa, which is being half. So there'll be a little bit of a twist on being half and half, and belonging, is kind of a landscape for where do you belong, my mom being Japanese, my father being Filipino. Wei Ming, I believe she's half Chinese and half Australian. So we're going to be discussing just the texture, of being from different cultures and being in a place where, the landscapes of multiculturalism collide. The communities border so closely, and you can't help but to be influenced by all the different cultures. And so what I want to talk about is how my art is influenced through all these different cultures.
Okay, if you've never been to an exhibit over there at the iHotel Middletown Center, they always have great exhibits. I've seen, I think, every one since they've been there. And this, I'm sure, is going to be the same quality. They go to pretty high standards there. Once again, the address is 868 Kearney Street, right at the corner. And you'll see, you can't even walk in the building before you get to the art. There's all kinds of beautiful photos in the windows, gigantic photos. And it's a very nice place, good vibes. So it starts at 2 o'clock tomorrow with the panel discussion. And the panel consists once again of Julia LaChica, whose voice you've been hearing, Nancy Hom, Wei Ming Dariotis, Dr. Wei Ming Dariotis, and moderated by Juana Maria Rodriguez, who is also a doctor. So, and in the exhibit includes mixed media assemblages, object making, printmaking, and painting. So this should be pretty awesome. Tell people about why they need to be there.
I think, they need to be there to experience it firsthand. I'm not the only artist in the Bay Area that creates art in this, similar fashion, layering different cultures. And it's important for people to come and create a dialogue, so we could find commonality with one another, so that we could, create a foundation to build, for our children. Art is very important. The budget is cutting art program left and right all over the place, and that's really a crime. And I think that people need to come out and support their local artists.
I agree.
And just be there.
I agree. So once again, this is going to be a panel discussion as well as the exhibit, and it's all happening at iHotel Manila Town Center, 868 Kearny Street, San Francisco. And let's see, Belonging is the name of the exhibit. The discussion starts at 2, goes to 5 o'clock, and it's going to be really nice. And she's got a blog where?
The blog is at WordPress, and it's Julia LaChica or Julia LaChica .wordpress.com.
Okay. Anything I missed that you want to talk about?
No.
Okay, so folks, once again, this is going to be an amazing exhibit. In conjunction with the exhibit Belonging, the Manila Town Heritage Foundation presents a panel discussion on Julia LaChica's artwork and mixed race heritage, reflecting on the influences from San Francisco's multiculturalism. And the discussion starts at 2 o'clock, goes to 5, and I want to thank her for coming down. And what can I say, except I'm looking forward to it. And right about now, I'm going to play Charito's been in the Bay Area. If you have never seen this woman, she's Filipino, but she's probably one of Japan's biggest names as far as jazz goes. And she's got a wonderful CD out, among others. This one is with the Manhattan Jazz Orchestra, but this one she's doing a jazz version of Stevie Wonder's Superstition.